Going live, baby. There we go. All right, we are live. Welcome to the Gridiron, basically where we talk about how great the New York Football Giants are and how much the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys suck. 26-3 Eagles, huh? Looking good today, huh? Looking good. Yeah, you fucking blow, Eagles. Absolutely, you fucking blow. 26-3. And the Cowboys, Trey Lance, 5 interceptions. Looking good. Looking good, Cowboys. 5 interceptions. Oh, my God. Woo! How about them Cowboys, huh? I said, welcome to the Gridiron. You could like this video, maybe share this video. That would be freaking awesome. Also down below if you're watching on YouTube. If you subscribe to the channel, and click that bell icon next time I go live or I put a video out, you'll be notified. Also, if you watch on YouTube, in the description box, the very top link takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. The second membership level I got is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one has their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And also a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. I'll put them in there for YouTube. Top one takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. We have over 9,000 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And it's growing every day. Please join. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. You won't be dissatisfied, right? And also, in YouTube. There will be a link. I'll put it down there. It takes you to my Twitter account. Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I try to put Giants-related stuff every day. My Twitter account. Well, Vinny G-Man. How was the game? I missed it. Yeah, well, you didn't miss much. Let me tell you what. If you like watching paint dry, and the Giant Jet game, and they were both very. It was not much going on. I mean, we didn't have much of a almost no passing game whatsoever. We had injuries. Just tough game to watch. Very tough. The Jets. Really, the Jets, what were they winning 10-3 at halftime? We didn't have much, we didn't have, in the second half, the Jets really didn't have much of anything, but it was all backups. It was backups versus backups, just basically all guys just trying to make the roster and all. So it was, I'll tell you what, our offensive line pass protection was absolutely horrible. I think we gave up, 7 or 8 sacks we gave up. It was horrible. What did we give up here? Give it 8 sacks. 8 sacks we gave up. I think Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan, he went the whole game. I think he got sacked one time. It was in the first half. 3 plays in a row he got sacked. I think it was 3 in a row. It was just like Evan. We got the first sack of the game we gave up. Evan Neal got burnt by a backup. He was a tackle. The guy went not right around him, but went around him. Tackled Tommy in the back, obviously in the backfield. Sack. So Evan Neal, we did a lot of running early on, but every time Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan went back to pass, it was like he either got sacked or he got hit. Injuries. John Michael Schmitz went out with an ankle. I think it was an ankle. Evan Neal. Let's see here. Let me see. Let's see here. Let me share the screen here. Which one? What do I got here? Now this one here. This is. I gotta be. I think I gotta be a subscriber because I can't read the rest of it. But anyway, this is from NewYorkNJ.com. Giants draft bust injured in NFL in preseason finale versus the Jets. I got another one here on some injuries here, so maybe it might say a little bit more about Evan Neal. But Giants tackle Evan Neal was listed as questionable to return with an ankle injury in the second quarter of their preseason game against the Jets. He wasn't taken out of the game during any specific play, but he will likely not return to the game. Neal did allow a sack on a quarter. Yeah, so he allowed a sack. So, but we have all kinds of. Let me go over. Let me see here. Yeah, quite a few injuries. Darnay Holmes in the second half. Jimmy Horn, the first play of the game. Actually, the first play of the game. Asante took the opening kickoff, got up out to midfield. He fumbled the ball. The Jets got it. I think that led to a field goal for him. But the first play, after we fumbled the ball and gave it to the Jets, the first, I think, was a running play. Timmy Horn, I think, might have pulled his Achilles tendon, and he got taken off on a cart. So his season might be over. Shocking. And it's just so many. So once again, absolutely once again. All right, let's see. There we go. Several. And a lot of the injuries were in the first half. So if anything happened in the second half, I'm not exactly sure. I said I do know that Darnay Holmes, he was injured in the second half. He was down on a knee and had some guys out there. I don't know what they were looking at exactly. What's up, buddy? So we got here. East Rutherford, the Giants took quite the beating in one half of play against it. It is absolutely amazing how we can't go through a football game without getting half the team injured. Absolutely amazing. The Giants were down 10-3 at halftime and several injuries coming out of the first half of the game, some of which would be of concern with the regular season opener approaching. Freaking believable. Absolutely unbelievable. Timmy Horn, first play of the game, not including the kickoff. Horn was injured on the first play from scrimmage. The trainers immediately called for a cart for the defensive lineman. A long shot to make the roster anyway. Horn was diagnosed with an Achilles injury. So I don't know if it's a torn Achilles, but something's wrong with the Achilles. But they took him off on a cart. First play. They Jets turned around, handed the ball off. They got some yards, a few yards, whatever it was. And Timmy Horn lays there laying on the field. Absolutely amazing. Oh, my God. Then Michael Schmitz. It was funny because, somewhere along the line, he got injured. It was I saw him like laying on the field and, in pain or anything like that. But it was funny that the Giants, they went for it. It was somewhere, I can't remember. It was in the first quarter or so. They got the ball down like inside, I think, the 10-yard line or something. It was like 4th and 2 or 4th and 1 or something like that. They went for it. They didn't get it, but it was funny because they showed John Michael Schmitz was leaning over the ball and he was like calling out signals and to the other offensive linemen. Like one of his fingers was bleeding, so he had like blood like running down one or two of his fingers. And he was like grabbing the ball with blood, off his fingers. And shortly after that, he got injured. He missed some time with the shoulder. Now apparently he has an ankle. It is unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Schmidt's one of the few starters on the offense to get a start in this game due to the 10 practices he missed at the start of training camp because of his shoulder issue. Had the back of his right leg rolled up on. Okay. During a failed, that was the 4th and 1. Okay. We're on the Giants' first offensive possession. So on the first offensive possession, they had no passing game whatsoever. None. It was unbelievable. Absolutely just unbelievable. How going up against the second and third string, you can't, I can't even talk. It's unbelievable. But, we marched down the field, look, not too bad with the running game. All right, the running game. Okay, you can pass or run. All right, so if we could do it with the run, okay. So we got down. It was whatever, I can't remember. I think it was inside the 10. It was 4th and 1. Apparently, I thought it was 4th and 1, 4th and 2, but 4th and 1, we didn't make it. But, that was the play that, they zoomed in on the ball and they show John Michael Schmitz grabbing the ball with his hand out, and one or two of his fingers had blood running down it, He's like pointing, like calling signals out and stuff like that. He snapped it, and they didn't block somebody, and somebody ran up the middle. I think Turbo Miller was the one who got the ball, and he got tackled in the back. You know, he didn't make it, obviously. But apparently that's the play that John Michael Schmitz got rolled up on. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully it's nothing serious. But I mean, just unfortunate injury. Yeah, just let's see here. Schmitz limped off the field slowly and was declared out with an ankle injury, which is not good sign for the Giants starting center with the regular season opener 2 weeks away. He was replaced by Austin Schlotman, however you want to pronounce it. The thing is that, see, I'm down here in South Jersey, so I got the NFL channel on. I'm not up in New York where I can maybe put on if it's I can't listen to Carl Banks, Phil Simms, and Bob Papa. Can't do it, unfortunately, because down here they had it was the Jets announcers. So basically, anything that happened with the Giants, I didn't know. They didn't talk about it. If the Giants had the ball, they would just say that the ball gets snapped, gets handed off, and whoever made the tackle for the Jets, so-and-so made the tackle. Yeah, so-and-so is a third year, or he's come from Boston College. He got drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars. His mother is a high school teacher. They just talked it was just about the Jets. So like anything that happened with the Giants, they didn't talk about at all. Looks like it's going to be a long, oh my God. It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And then when the Jets had the football on offense, they talk about the quarterback. Quarterback gets the ball, he steps, and he throws the ball. It's completed. It's completed to so-and-so. He picks up. So-and-so picks up. They don't tell you who tackles them or nothing. So they talked absolutely not. Like I didn't hear anything about Michael Schmitz getting injured. Nothing at all. They were too busy talking about the Jets because unfortunately it was just the Jets announcers. So that's all I was hearing from. So anything that happened with the Giants is very, very minimal coverage because all I was listening to was the Jets announcers, unfortunately. So, what happened with Evan Neal, I didn't hear anything. Michael Schmitz, they don't even talk about it. They just all they talked about was the Jets. So, unfortunately, I kind of got screwed, But and then Evan Neal playing in his first live game action since his season-ending ankle surgery, which landed him on the PUP list to start the training camp, left the game midway through the second quarter with an ankle injury. It does appear that Neal injured the same ankle he had surgically repaired last year. But Neal, who logged 19 snaps before his injury, was spotted on the Giants sideline walking around gingerly. He was replaced by Joshua Miles. If Neal's ankle injury is serious enough, he could be a candidate for the new, this is good, I like this, for the new IR rule in which teams can put up to 2 players on the IR on cutdown day, provided they designate the players for a return. So the cool thing about that is you can put him, you cut down to your 53. I believe this is how it works, right? So you can have your 53, but you can put 2 guys on the IR as long as they get injured before the cut down day. I think that's what it is. So if Neal's going to be ginger and he might be out for another few weeks or something like that, they can put him on that list and designate him for return so they don't have to, cut him, waive him, or put him on the way, whatever. So we'll have to wait and see. So, but I mean, if Neal's walking around gingerly on the ankle he just surgically had repaired, but I mean, he got burnt going. That was the first sack of the game that we gave up. And the guy went right around Neal. He was the tackle. He's backing up. The guy went right around him. Now I can't say I don't want to say right around him, but he went around him and got Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan in the backfield. So, but I mean, it was just 8 sacks we gave up. 8 sacks. Outside linebacker Ovi Agofu, a long shot to make the roster, was declared out with a hamstring strain. Now, I mean, and I don't mean to be a jackwagon at all, and I don't even want to. I can't. as much as I hate the Eagles, I don't want any of their players to get injured. As much as I hate the Cowboys, I don't want nobody to get injured, right? And anybody for the most part, who got injured, got injured tonight, is absolutely, you don't want to see that. You don't want nobody getting injured. But that aside, a lot of the injuries, from some of these guys is guys that weren't going to make the team, So, but there was quite a few of them. So Ogofu had a hamstring strain. Mario Goodrich, as I said, these guys are like getting injured and stuff, and I'm not even finding. I have no idea what's going on because they're not talking about the Giants. All they're doing is talking about the Jets stuff. So Mario Goodrich strained his hamstring in the second quarter while covering a punt. He was helped off the field, which is a clear sign that this hamstring injury is significantly significant. Is that the right way to say it? His hamstring is a clear sign that his hamstring injury is significantly significant. Okay, all right. If that's the right way to word it. So the Giants had like 4 guys in the first half, and I said, I know Darnay Holmes got injured. They came and looked at him, but some of these other guys with their hamstrings and stuff, I didn't even know about it. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. Listen to Dable. Maybe tomorrow you might have maybe a better, list of who's injured, who's in, who's out. Well, also Tuesday too. It'd be the cut down day. So a lot of these guys who are injured, won't have a chance to make the team. But so the Giants, they lost at 4 guys in the first half. I said I don't know how many guys in the second half, but I do want to praise one guy, number 57. The Giants just happen to be a little at the moment, a little thin inside linebacker. Well, number 57, Cloyd. Tell you what, the guy might have just made himself a spot on the roster. If not a spot on the roster, tell you what, that guy was freaking everywhere. This guy, Cloyd, number 57. KJ Cloyd, 16 tackles. Number 57. The guy was like everywhere. KJ Cloyd. He's a rookie from Miami. 6'2", about 230. He didn't look super huge, but once again, you got to keep all that stuff, a little grain of salt. It's backups or second, third strings and all, but the dude was in on 16 tackles. Okay, so one thing is when you're going against weaker opponent, one thing you want to do is dominate, like what Victor Cruz did. 2000, I guess there was 10, I believe it was. Against the Jets, he caught 3 touchdown passes in a preseason game, made a name for himself. So when you're going against weaker opponents, you want to dominate. That's what Cloyd did. So whether he makes the roster just from this game or not, who knows? But the one thing is for sure is that this game, those 16 tackles, is on film, right? So if they, everybody's looking at that. All the other teams will be looking at that. So the Giants try to they let him go, and hopefully he goes through waivers and maybe comes back, and they try to sneak him on the practice squad. He may not make it. 16 tackles is pretty darn impressive. Now, I don't know if he started, to tell you the truth. I started noticing him, I think it was like in the second quarter. So I don't know if he played like the whole game. That I don't know. But it was just like every other play. He was sitting on a tackle. Number 57. If you watch the replay of the game, if you want to watch the replay of the game, but number 57, especially like in the second half, the guy was in on like almost freaking everything. So he's a rookie, right? Number 57, linebacker, 6'2", about 230. Once again, if this guy Cloyd, if you put him in there against first stringers, is he going to be, that active or that good or whatever? But I haven't really heard of the guy before tonight. So he might have just carved that. If not on the starting 53, maybe they might try to sneak him on. If they can, maybe sneak him on the practice squad. But he made a name for himself tonight. There wasn't many other people who did. I can tell you that much. Whew, my goodness. But, I mean, if you look here, what do we got? Tommy Chicken averaged 3.8 yards a pass attempt. I mean, you want to be around 7, at least 7. 7's good. That's acceptable. 3.8 yards per pass attempt. He threw the ball 27 times, right, for 103 yards. Now, we did lose 7,484 yards from the 8 sacks that he had. Some of the times he just didn't even have a chance. The guys were just in on him, right? So we had 14. He completed 14 passes for 103 yards. Even his pass completions only went for 7 yards. It was anything that was completed was just like a dink and a dunk. It was really tough to watch. Very, very tough to watch. Now we did do nice, okay, with the the running the ball, but Tommy DeVito did some scrambling. So if you take his scrambling out, right? The Giants' backs and wide receivers ran the ball 23 times for 95 yards, which is over 4 yards a carry. So that's acceptable, right? Turbo Miller ran the ball 14 times for 45 yards. Kelly was in there. Kelly, number 23, Kelly. Right? So there was no Gray, no Tracy, obviously no Motor, Singletary. But Joshua Kelly, number 23, he ran the ball 8 times for 40 yards. So, the thing was with Miller, small. A lot of the stuff was trying to up the middle and all. It's like, I don't know. A lot of the stuff was rather just, a lot of very vanilla kind of stuff. They're not putting a lot of stuff out there, A lot of it's guys just trying to make the roster also. It's like, okay, dude, you're the guard. You line up, you block this guy. Let's see what you got. Okay, dude, you're the center, right? You snap the ball, right? Let's see what the snap. You got to block that guy. Let's see what you. That's basically a lot of it. It's not that they're not trying to outcoach each other or anything like that. They're trying to make it through the game as injury-free as possible. So. But it was tough to watch. Let's see if we go here to some of the team stats. The Giants actually, I think, had more first downs. Yeah, they had 17. Now, the Jets had a lot of first downs in the first half. They didn't have a lot of first downs in the second half. The Giants' defense did pretty good in the second half. Once again, it's third stringers or whatever against third, so. But, the Giants' defense looked rather well. They didn't give up any points in the second half at all. So, unfortunately, Asante, when he fumbled the ball and the Jets got the ball around midfield on the opening kickoff, that led to a field goal. And then they had the one touchdown run where the guy ran the ball up the middle. Couple Giants got their hands on him. They just couldn't bring the guy down, and he spun away and ran for a touchdown. So, But let's see where we got total plays. Giants had 63 total yards after the sacks yardage. The Giants had 199 yards of offense. So even if you throw the sack yardage on there for they lost 47 yards, the Giants had 200. Oh, here we go. Here it is right here. Right here. See if they'll show it again. It's right here. Comes this guy, gets a hand on him. I don't know who that is. 43. I think that Beavers had a chance to get him. He just spins away and he just runs. One guy had an arm on him, and then it had a chance right there, and they had a chance to bring him down, but it just didn't happen. And that was the Jets' only touchdown. But I said, the Giants 199 yards of offense. The Jets had 288. But I said down here, you look. Time of possession, each team. Giants had 29 minutes. They had 31. The Giants, the one fumble cost the Giants basically a field goal. We didn't get any turnovers, but we only had 3 penalties. Good game, 25 yards. Red zone, we're 0 for 2, but that's because we were going for it instead of trying to kick field goals. Same thing with the Jets. You got to get, especially in preseason, if it's whatever, you get down to the 7-yard line, it's 4th and 1. What are you learning? Well, let's bring our field goal kicker in to kick a 3-yard field goal. I mean, what are you learning from that? So, I mean, a lot of times, obviously, in this preseason, 4th and 1 at the 7 or whatever, you got to go for it. You'll learn a lot more that way. But where are we at here? Passing. Yeah, the Giants got sacked 8 times. Giants got 3 sacks. So not too bad. But, gave up 8 sacks. And he got hit a lot, too. Let's see. Let's see here. Box score. Did they show any of that? Tackles? No, it's tackles for loss. Oh, here we go. 13 hits. That's where we got here. 13, all right, sacks, 8 sacks, and 13 hits. So the Giants had 7 hits and 3 sacks. So the Jets were getting a lot of pressure. Yeah. I mean, all in all, it was just, tough game to watch. Very, very tough game to watch. But a lot of times that's the way it is. Like that last game, you got all these guys battling, fighting to get, a roster spot. It's sometimes it's tough to watch, and that was no different there. Yeah, but then we got let me share this here. I got this here in instant analysis. It's absolutely amazing. Like, as soon as the game is over, you got people put. Who's this? Giants.com. Giants fall the Jets 10-6 in the preseason finale. 10-6. There you go. At a glance, the Giants fell to the Jets in the preseason finale. The Giants finished the preseason with a 1-2 record. So the Giants scored what? 3 touchdowns. What did the Giants get? 24. Giants scored 30 points in preseason. Who the heck was it? The Panthers. Right? I think the Panthers scored 31 points this game alone. 31 points. Giants scored 30 points in 3 games. Let's see. The Jets did much. Jets were they went 3-0 in preseason. So clubs must reduce their active roster to a maximum of 53 players by 4:00 on Tuesday. Let's see. Wearing the century red uniforms, the Giants will kick off the 100th season. What we learned about the offense, the starting lineup. Tommy, right? Chicken Cutlets, Zudu, Kubas, Schmitz, Mayfield, Neal. Turbo Miller, Isaiah Hodgins, Robinson, Stahl, and then you had Jacob Johnson in there. Let's see. Schmitz, who missed time earlier this summer because of his shoulder, suffered an ankle injury in the first half and did not return. Injuries plagued the Giants throughout the night. Neal, seeing his first action since November 9th, left the game in the second quarter with an ankle injury. It was originally listed as questionable to return. The Giants surrendered 7 sacks in the game, including a sequence of DeVito going down on 3 straight plays in the middle of the second quarter. Unbelievable. He was just going back to pass, and like within 2 seconds, there was somebody there to take him down. Dibble called the offensive plays once again. He was asked earlier in the week if that will be the case once the regular season begins. We're moving in that direction, he said. Take next week and ultimately make the decision here before 16 days. Wide receiver Johnny Giles had the Giants' longest reception. They got 21-yarder on which he showed his hurdling ability. Other than that, I mean, it was just a lot of short passes. Signed 9 days ago, running back Joshua Kelly. Didn't look too bad, but once again, he was going against second and third stringers. But number 23 didn't look too bad. He had some good visions on a couple of his runs. He had the longest run in the game on a 19-yarder when I think he went up the middle and he broke it out to the left. But he had some, had some nice vision on that one. He finished the night with 40 yards on 8 carries, Turbo Miller ran 14 times for 45 yards, but it was DeVito, a quarterback, who led the way in the ground with 48 yards, including a 17-yard keeper, which was good enough for a first down, I believe, if I remember correctly. But, he did what, a couple of times it's like, the protection might have been there, but then it might have been a hole, right? And he just took it. He took advantage of it. The defense, Boogie Basham, Timmy Horn, I said, who lasted one play. Casey Rogers, Whitley. Oh, okay. Cloyd. Okay, he did start then. Okay. I wasn't sure or not, but so KJ Cloyd started inside linebacker and got 16. He was in on 16 tackles. Beavers, David Long, Alex Johnson, Borders, Holmes, Darnay Holmes, and Clayton Isbell. Outside linebackers, Toman Fox and Benton Whitley left a good final impression with 3 quarterback hits apiece. Fox got a sack, and Whitley had 1.5. KJ Cloyd racked up a game-high 16 tackles, including 2 for loss. The undrafted rookie out of the University of Michigan signed with the Giants 2 weeks ago after beginning his NFL career with the Vikings. So he might have carved out a roster spot for himself. Might have. Right? 2 weeks ago. Signed with the Giants 2 weeks ago, and he made 16 tackles. Once again, it's against second and third stringers. I get it. It's preseason. I get it. But he's learning a new defense, right? He's not a 10-year veteran. Right? He came in and made 16 tackles. I mean, sometimes, like they would turn it around and handing the ball off, and he was just shooting a gap, and he was making tackles in the backfield. What we learned about special teams. Ayir Asante. Yeah, I mean, started the game good, broke up the middle on the kickoff, got almost out to midfield, fumbled the ball. Broke a long kickoff return at joint practice in Florham Park and seemingly carried over the success to MetLife Stadium. The undrafted rookie opened the game with a 42-yard return, but it was spoiled when Trey Swilling stripped the ball and the Jets recovered. This came a week after the Giants turned the ball over 5 times in Houston. Now, to the credit of the Giants, right, if you want to call it that credit, right, is that, they turned the ball over 5 times against the Texans. And when Asante fumbled the ball on the opening kickoff and the Jets got it, I'm like, what the? But that was the only turnover we had. Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan, no interceptions. There was one when we got our field goal. The one I can't remember who blocked it, but when we were losing 10-3, we had a drive. We were down, 5-yard line, 6 yards, somewhere deep. It was 3rd down. DeVito steps back to pass, and I can't remember. And Kelly, the running back, is wide open around like the 2-yard line. If DeVito gets the ball to him, if Kelly catches it, he's walking into the end zone, and the game would have been tied 10-10. But DeVito throws the ball, and one of the Jet defender puts his one arm up, knocks it down. So that saved the touchdown. Probably, quite possibly saved the touchdown for the Jets. We got here. McAtamey. The international kicker. Handled kicking duties and made his 2 field goal attempts from 43 and 23 yards. A native of Ireland, they originally signed as a rookie free agent in May through the NFL's International Player Pathway Program. The former Gaelic football player spent the 2021 season at Chowan University in North Carolina and the 2022 and 23 seasons at Rutgers. 2023, he set a school record with 40 touchbacks on 60 attempts. Game captain was DeVito. All right, then we got in-game injury report. Jimmy Horn, John Michael Schmitz, Evan Neal. Agofu, it was a hamstring. Goodrich, it was a hamstring. Jalen Mayfield, another guy, a leg and an ankle. And Darnay Holmes, his neck. Okay, Darnay Holmes was the neck. Jalen Mayfield got injured, and I didn't even know it because the Jets Now I don't remember the Jets announcers even talking about Mayfield getting injured. So we lost. We got 3 offensive linemen. They were injured in one game. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. So the Giants, as always, Giants had on the injury report 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The Jets had 3. It's almost like a carbon almost every game. It's like rinse and repeat. The Giants, after the game's over, Giants have 7 guys injured. The other team only has 2. The next week, the Giants have 6 guys injured. The other team only has 2. The next week, the Giants got 8 guys injured. The other team only had. It's absolutely amazing. Absolutely unbelievably amazing. Let's see here. All right, so I got this other one. I got another one here too. They're talking, but it's pretty much the same thing here. Talking about Michael Schmitz. Giants injury news: Michael Schmitz, Evan Neal, and 4 others suffer injuries. Well, we got this. There was 5 others that suffered injuries. So let's see. The injury to starting offensive center Michael Schmitz remains the story, but the injuries haven't stopped. Mario Goodrich has suffered an injury as well, has been ruled out with the hamstring injury. Goodrich suffered his injury with 5 minutes left in the second quarter and was seen limping off the field. Agofu suffered a leg injury while defending a punt in the second quarter. Let's see. Injuries have hit the Giants linebacking corps hard in the preseason, which could factor into their decisions surrounding cutdown day, meaning, who they might wind up keeping. The injury came following the 3 straight sacks of Tommy DeVito. Timmy Horn was carted off the field following the first play of the game. Ed Valentine tweeting that he couldn't put weight on his leg. Timmy Horn carted off the field, 1 play, not putting any weight on his left leg. Not good. Yeah, so, I don't know if he blew out his Achilles or what. First freaking play of the game. Horn's injury came on the first play after the Giants fumbled the opening kickoff. The injury came as Horn was attempting to defending a toss play. Horn, a third-year player from Kansas State, was signed to the Giants practice squad in December 2023. He's trying to make the Giants squad as a depth player behind Sexy Dexy and Nacho. The fact that he started the game for the Giants is good news on that front, but an injury could put paid to those hopes. But an injury could put paid to those hopes. Okay, well, whatever that means. We'll update them more on Horn's injury. So, unfortunately, with Horn, it just sounds like they can't put any weight on it. Hopefully it's not a torn Achilles, but shame because we made the trade. We traded Phillips away, right? Ryder Anderson, we let him go because he was injured. Now Timmy Horn, he may not be able to play, so it might get a little thin on the defensive line. Although we're probably only going to keep like 4 guys, right? But you'd like to maybe get somebody on the practice squad, right, from the defensive front. Interior linebacker, getting a little thin because we had some guys injured. But the one nice thing is with cutdown day coming on Tuesday, the Giants are number 6 in the pecking order. So that's good. Unlike last year, we were like number 25 or 26, whatever it was in the pecking order. So we were way down there. So last year, if the Giants saw somebody they wanted after the cutdown day, the Giants were way down on the pecking order. This year, right, being number 6, if they see somebody who just got released, right, when they go, all the teams have to go from 90 down to 53. The Giants see somebody that they like, they got a good chance of getting them. So. But yeah, this was a tough game to watch. not for the faint of heart. It was tough. All right, and then finally, the Giants. I was on vacation. What the heck was it? Last week. actually is. Yeah, we were the 20. Today's Saturday, soon to be Sunday. Yeah, like last Saturday was my last day in the Dominican Republic, so they let out a list of guys when I was on vacation. Players, was it 31 to 40, and this week I think it's 20. They just let out 21 to 30. So I want to go over the list of guys that from 31 to 40 who they just the Giants top players, top 100 players of all time. So I'll start off here. Dick Lynch, because I remember last time I did over this list here, I remember talking about Bart Oates, but Dick Lynch, who was back in the glory days of the Giants. He was with the Giants. I think it was from it says in there 59 to 66, I believe it was. He was a secondary. Got a lot of interceptions. Led the league a couple times in interceptions. Was very, very good. He's on the 59, 61, 62, 63 teams that went to the championship games. Unfortunately, we didn't win any of them, but he was a good player. And also, not only that, but after he retired from football, eventually he became one of the radio announcers for the Giants. He was he was with the Giants for quite some time. Dick Lynch almost didn't become a successful NFL player and beloved radio announcer. He was ready to end his playing career after his first season in 1958 with the Redskins. He didn't much like playing for the Redskins, and after Coach Joe Kuharich left the team to take the job at Notre Dame, Lynch certainly wasn't interested in playing for his replacement, Mike Nixon. So the Giants made a trade for Lynch. Fortunately, Lynch didn't have to pursue a career of selling the Encyclopedia Britannica. The Redskins traded him to the Giants for a fourth-round pick prior to the 1959 season, and he remained with the franchise until his death. Because basically, after he retired, he was in one capacity. Oops, sorry, buddy. My dog is underneath my feet. In one capacity or the other, basically, he was with the Giants, but he was a radio announcer for years with the Giants. Lynch was honored for his many years of service, for his tireless work for charitable causes as the Giants Alumni Man of the Year. Lynch played for the Giants from 59 to 66, a period in which the team played in 4 NFL championship games. Lynch played 97 regular season games. He intercepted 35 passes. And both in 1961 and 63, he led the NFL with 9 interceptions. In 1963, he also led the league with 251 return yards and 3 touchdowns. Lynch scored 7 career touchdowns, 4 on interception returns, and 3 on fumble returns. It was very, very good. But also got to realize, too, he had 35 interceptions. But, back then in 1959 and 60 with the Giants, they only played 12 games. They didn't start playing 14 games until 1961. And like nowadays, we're playing 17 games. So he had 35 interceptions. But, if they were playing, 16 to 17 games a season like they were, back then, he would certainly might have close to 40 interceptions on his career. But he was a very, very good player for the Giants. But also, as I said, but he was a radio host for the longest time. And I always remember listening to him on the radio, because a lot of times I had to try to get down here in South Jersey. Like in the 80s and the 90s, they don't put the Giants on TV. I didn't have direct TV. There's no Sunday Ticket in 1987 or something like that. So if I want to, hear the Giants, I got to either drive up north, and try to watch a Giant game. I got to drive a couple hours north just to see the Giants, or I try to find them on the radio. Well, a lot of times I was able to get them on the radio. There'd be a lot of static sometimes, but Dick Lynch was always, he was always like the guy in the background. He was always, he always did a lot of the commentating. So I remember listening to him a lot. So he was with the Giants for absolutely a long, long time. Then you got Alex Webster. Now, Alex Webster's an interesting character here because he was with the Giants for quite some time. From 55 to 64, he was a back for the Giants, but then he also was a coach for the Giants from 1969 to 1973. the Giants got him from the Canadian Football League. He played, I think, one season in the Canadian Football League in 1954, and the Giants went. He was like the best athlete, like in the Canadian Football League. And the Giants went and got him, and he was with the Giants, from 55 for 10 seasons, right? And he was part of the 56 championship. He was in the 58, 59, 61, 62, 60. So he was on 6 teams that went to the championship game. So he was, he wasn't a home run hitter. He was no Saquon Barkley, this, that, and the other thing. But what is he? I think he had over 7,000 yards. I think it was. 7,317 scrimmage yards. I mean, as I said, but you also got to remember too. Back then, a lot of times they only played 12 games in a season, right? If they're playing 17 games in a season back then, right, like they are nowadays, he would have had well over 8,000 or 9,000 total yards. But you also got to realize too, he was in the backfield with a guy that we retired his number, a guy named Frank Gifford, right? So Gifford got some yards, Alex Webster got some yards. So there was a lot of sharing going on there. But Alex Webster was also the head coach of the Giants in 1970. That's the first year I remember watching football. Watching the Giants was 1970. And Alex Webster was the coach. He coached from 69 to 73. So he was beloved by many. A guy, they called him Red. He was all around a great player, classy guy. Gifford said, he was easy to get along with. Alex made you laugh all the time. He was fun, and he had a great sense of humor. He was really a classy guy. Frank Gifford said that. He came down from Canada. I think it was the Toronto Argonauts, was it? I think it says it in here. Anyway. Montreal Alouettes. I'm sorry. Webster joined the Giants in 1955 after 2 seasons with the Montreal Alouettes of the Canadian Football League. So then, of course, you got Joe Morris. I mean, the one thing was with him, I mean, well, I'll tell you what, man, like the 84, 85, 86, man, I'll tell you what, he was really showing what he could do. You give that guy a hole, he was gone. And, he was fast. He was he was short, powerful legs. And, a lot of times I really believe sometimes that the defense had a hard time just spotting him, because he was so short. But I'll tell you what, you give that guy a hole, he was gone. He was gone. I mean, the one year he had over 20 touchdowns, man, I tell you what, the few seasons there, the one thing was I think they gave him the ball too many times, and I think it just beat the heck out of the guy. He had so many touches, carrying the ball. He didn't catch a lot of passes, but between catching the ball and the runs, he just got beat up, unfortunately. But at least he got himself a Super Bowl trophy in 1986. But Joe Morris, he joined the Giants in 82 as a second-round draft choice from Syracuse. Let's see here. He went on to set the franchise records since been brought here in rushing attempts. He had 1,318 rushing attempts, 5,296 rushing yards, 48 touchdowns. He was only 5'7", so he was short, low to ground. He had 21 touchdowns in 1985. Yeah. I mean, just overall, really, really good, tough back. But I think the wear and tear, because Parcells liked to control the ball, right? He didn't, necessarily want to turn the ball over a lot. So he liked to control things. And if you can just wear on the other team and run the ball, he was all for that. And the nice thing was that we had Joe Morris, but the problem was, with Joe Morris being so small and all of that, not everybody can take the ball hundreds of times a year and play 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Most human beings are going to wear down, and Joe Morris was one of those. Right. Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, I don't think we need to talk about anything here. Why Odell Beckham Jr. is on the list at number 37. Now, obviously, Odell Beckham Jr., if he played his whole career with the Giants, I'm sure would be much higher. If he played his whole career with the Giants and didn't get all his injuries and blah, 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 I'm sure he'd be much higher, higher on this list. But, the amount of time that he played with the Giants, what he meant and what he did for the Giants and all that. And, that one catch with the 3 fingers against the Cowboys. So he obviously needs to be on this list. But obviously, if he played more games with the Giants and everything, I'm sure they'd have him much higher than number 37. Then we got Benny Friedman. Benny Friedman was the first Joe Montana. Let me tell you what, this guy could throw the freaking ball. But back in the day, let's see, 29, 28, 27, 19. Okay, so 1927. He was in Michigan in 26, college. He came out in 1927 with the Cleveland Bulldogs. 1928, he was with the Detroit Wolverines. After the season was over, the Detroit Wolverines, I think, were in some kind of financial trouble, and Tim Mara bought the whole team. He tried to get Benny Friedman from the Detroit Wolverines. Well, they weren't trading him. So Tim Mara went and bought the whole team. And basically, he bought the whole team just almost kind of specifically for Benny Friedman. Benny Friedman could throw the football. As I said, it was more shaped like a basketball, which made it easier to drop kick. Obviously, since then, the ball's a lot more oval, right, pointed and everything. It makes it a lot easier to throw the ball. Well, back then, it was a lot more oval shaped. It was very difficult to throw the football back then. It was not easy. Football rules were a lot. I don't know why, but a lot of the rules were stacked against passing. Like if you drop back, you had to throw the ball for a certain period of time. The rules change, but for a certain period of time, you had to be at least 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage to throw a pass. I don't know why, but you had to. If the ball got, as they called it back then, if the ball got grounded in the end zone, meaning if the ball landed in the end zone incomplete, or if it got thrown through the end zone or whatever it was incomplete, the ball was a turnover. So if you threw the ball in the end zone, you got to make sure, because if not, you're going to lose possession of the ball. But Benny Friedman, he would. A lot of times back then, the teams would throw the ball when they had to. If they were down by a lot of points or whatever it was at the end of the game, they needed to score a touchdown. That's when they would start throwing the ball. Or if it was say 3rd down and 9, or 3rd and 8, or 3rd and 7, and they probably weren't going to pick it up from, that's when they would throw the ball. Usually it was more like run on 1st down, run on 2nd down. Okay, it's 3rd down and 8. Well, I guess we're passing the ball. Not with Benny. Benny would throw it when he wanted to throw the ball. He played for the Giants from 1929, 30, and 31. He led the league in passing, and I believe he's the only player in NFL history, to lead the league in rushing touchdowns and passing touchdowns. This guy was very, very good. Very, very good. And he played 3 years with the Giants. But he's certainly, without question, if he had played a little bit longer with the Giants and all that stuff and everything, I'm sure he'd be much higher. But he only played 3 seasons with the Giants. So, but I'm very happy to see him on this list. Then good old Rosie Greer, 1955. Let me check this out. I think it was 55. In 55, yeah. He was drafted 31st overall in the 1955 draft, which was the 3rd round back then. 31st overall, which was the 3rd round back then. Nowadays, the 31st overall is your 1st round, but not him. But I mean, back then, he was a huge human being. What was he? 6'5", 284 pounds. Now. And he was a defensive tackle. Nowadays, if you're 284 pounds, you're an underweight. You're a light defensive tackle. Not back then. Because the offensive linemen back then were like 230, 220, 240 maybe. So him at 285 pounds, back in the 50s. We're going back 70 years ago. He was a big human being, and he was a very, very good defensive tackle for the Giants for quite some time. The problem is that, well, not a problem, but after the 1962 season, our coach, I believe, Ali Sherman, wanted to start getting younger. So he started, as a couple of years went by, some of the guys retired, or he started trading away some of his players who he thought were a little old, and he wanted to get maybe younger. Well, he traded Rosie Greer away, and he played 63, 4, 5, and 6. He played his last 4 seasons with the Los Angeles Rams. We traded him away to the Rams, and he still had a few seasons left with him. Now, unfortunately, when he went to the Rams in 63, 4, 5, and 6, he was part of the fearsome foursome. It was Lamar Lundy, Deacon Jones, Merlin Olsen, and Rosie Greer. Those 4 guys were the original fearsome foursome with the Los Angeles Rams. But he was a very, very good player. Huge, nicest guy, nicest pie. I mean, real great guy. And I'm really, really happy to see him on this list here. He certainly deserves it. Another guy certainly deserves to be on this list this high, Jesse Armstead. I think was it 8th round pick? I think he was. I mean, how we got this guy from the U in it's just a 5-time Pro Bowler, 207th player chosen in the 93 draft. He was the last of the Giants' 7 selections. But I mean, this guy was a fantastic player. Had a team high 114 tackles when he became a starter in 1996. The first of 5 consecutive seasons with more than 100 tackles. The next year, he had a career best 134 stops, was selected to his first Pro Bowl, and was a catalyst in the Giants winning the NFC title. In 2000, he had one of his best seasons, and the Giants routed the Vikings. I mean, just, one of those later round picks that really just, I mean, we got him and Michael Strahan in the same draft. I mean, we got 2 freaking stud defensive players in the one draft. I mean, Jesse Armstead, without question, it's good to see him on this list. Then we got good old Fran Tarkenton. Now, I'm an old-time fart, so you got to forgive me, all right? But Fran Tarkenton was number 10. Now, once again, please forgive me. But he was the first quarterback I ever saw play for the Giants, 1970, first game I ever remember. And so he's my favorite number 10 of all time. I know Eli Manning, we got 2 Super Bowls because of him and all of that stuff. But Fran Tarkenton, he's my favorite quarterback of all time for the Giants because he's my first guy I ever remember. But he's a Hall of Famer. A lot of what he was Hall of Famer for was when he was with the Vikings. He was with the Giants for 5 seasons from 67 to 71. The Giants didn't have very good talent around him. The defense was not very good. The offense was not very good. I mean, we had some good players at some positions, but we were not loaded with talent. And for what he did, with the lack of talent around them, it was pretty special. He was an All-Pro, Pro Bowler. He went to the Pro Bowl, I think 4 out of his 5 seasons with the Giants, 67, 8, 9, and 70. 71 was a horrible season. But, Fran did the best he could with what he had. And the coaching was not very good. He was with Ali Sherman, who was a good offensive mind, but was not a great coach. Then Alex Webster, who was a great guy, but not a great coach. So he was not surrounded with a lot of talent. And he did the best he could with very little. I said, but when he went to a good team like the Minnesota Vikings in 73, 74, and 76, he took them to the Super Bowl 3 out of 4 years. They lost all 3 of those Super Bowls. But, when you took Fran Tarkenton and you put him on a good team like the Minnesota Vikings, he took him to the Super Bowl. And when Fran Tarkenton retired after, I think, the 78 season, I think it was, he 77 or 78 season, he held almost all the passing records, passing attempts, completions, yards, touchdowns, stuff like that. He held a lot of records. He was very, very good. He was also the first known scrambler, right? That was one of the things he did. He scrambled a lot. Then, of course, we got OC. I mean, what can you say or not say about this guy? I mean, OC Human being on that list, absolutely. The one thing is, it's like, I look at this. I look at we got OC. I'm going to talk about Justin Tuck and all these guys on another day, but I mean, is OC number 32? Should OC be number 31 and Snee be number 32? Or should Snee be number 30 and Justin Tuck's number 30? I mean, I don't freaking know. I don't really care. I just like to see these guys on this list. Now, of course, I said OC, the one game he had all those sacks against the Eagles, the 6 sacks. We owed a guy a heck of a lot, a heck of a lot. I mean, we had that NASCAR package going on, with like him and Tuck and, JPP and all and everything. I mean, just really, really good to see him on this list. I mean, he certainly deserves to be on there without question. What do they got here? They got a lot on here. Let's see. He obviously second round draft pick out of Troy. He had 75 of his 85 career sacks with the Giants, which placed him 4th on the franchise official list. Michael Strahan, Lawrence Taylor, and Leonard Marshall are the only other players with more sacks in the Giants uniform since 1982. Okay. He was in 10 postseason games. He had 5.5 sacks. Let's see. In 2007, the World Championship team, he made a Pro Bowl that season. The Giants had an NFL high 53 sacks. Obviously, in the September 23rd game, Hugh Manure said the Giants single game franchise with 6 sacks against the Eagles. That's basically also because he was going up against like a backup or third string tackle or something like that. The Eagles had. It wasn't the Eagles starting tackle. You know what I mean? So you got to be fair, but I mean, he had a great game, and I'm glad because it was against the Eagles, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. But obviously, without question, OC deserves to be on this list. Absolutely. And then the last one I'll just go over with here is Chris Snee. This guy deserves to be on here, this list too. Of course, in 2004, right, we traded away a lot of draft picks to get Eli Manning. But one pick we didn't trade away was our second round pick. And in our second round pick in 2004, we got good old Chris Snee. It's interesting because I saw a picture. I think it was in a Facebook group. Chris Snee came, I guess him and Eli Manning, they were at, I guess maybe the training camp or something like that. And I think Eli had his arm around Chris Snee or something, whatever it was. And you look at the picture now, right? And Eli looks like he's taller, and Eli looks like he outweighs Chris Snee. Looks like he's bigger. Because you remember, Chris Snee was a lineman, right? He's lost a lot of weight. He don't look like an offensive lineman anymore. But I mean, with Chris Snee, the rock that he was, being part of those, the offensive line in 2007, 2011, and all and everything, just fantastic second round pick. It's just, when you think about it, you're going anyway. You're taking an offensive lineman in the second round, and he pans out, right? Wouldn't that be so nice if nowadays, we draft offensive linemen and they really pan out? Wouldn't it be so nice? But I mean, Chris Snee, absolutely great pick. Certainly deserves to be on this list. He was a stalwart on the Giants team. They won the 2 Super Bowls. He was a 4-time Pro Bowler and an All-Pro. He started all 141 regular season games and 11 postseason games in which he played. He was a Pro Bowler in 2008 through 2010, and once again in 2012. He was selected an All-Pro in 2010. From 2005 to 2011, he started 101 consecutive regular season games, plus 7 postseason games, before missing a game against Buffalo with a concussion. Snee was the last member of that terrific and popular offensive line that included O'Hara, Seibert, Deal, Kareem McKenzie, and, of course, Snee, from 2006 to 2010. At one time, the group started 38 consecutive regular season games, then the league's longest streak. I took pride in being out there every game, Snee said. You only get so many opportunities to play games, so I am thankful. There were games where I probably was 70% less than that, but I thought I owed it to my organization and to my teammates, coaches, and the fans just to be out there. I'm getting paid to play that day, so I'm going to play. To me, he was the To me, he was the best guard in all of football, no doubt, said Coach Tom Coughlin, who was Snead's father-in-law. No matter who you put him against, all the great defensive tackles in the game, the 350-pound guys, the 340-pound guys, he blocked them. When he first came here, he was so committed and so driven to excel at the professional level. So without question, he deserves to be on there. So that's a good solid list right there from 31 to 40. I said next time I do a video, maybe tomorrow night or Monday or whatever, I'll go over the next where we got 21 to 30. So I'll start at Arnie Weinmeister. Oh yeah, the best defensive tackle the Giants have ever had in the history of their team. Arnie Weinmeister, without question. So I'll go from number 21 to good old Justin Tuck, who obviously is one of the best defensive. He was all over the place, good old Justin Tuck, but he certainly deserves to be on this list. Well, guys, preseason's over with. It is what it is. That was a tough game. I can't say it was a tough loss, but it's just a tough game to watch. Tough game to watch. So Tuesday, you got the cut downs. See who makes the 53. Then they're going to waive a bunch of guys and see how many guys they wind up putting back on the practice squad. We'll have to wait and see. But look for the Giants to go out there, after the cuts and get a couple acquisitions in here. Because between, some of the areas that we're a little thin on, like cornerback, maybe inside linebacker, defensive tackle, a couple places we're a little thin on, because of injuries, but also a little thin maybe on talent-wise, whatever. Look for the Giants to be somewhat active in the on Tuesday / Wednesday, whatever. Whenever you can start picking up players, look for the Giants to be kind of active. So preseason came and the preseason's gone. So we got 2 weeks and the regular season starts. Let's hope that the regular season starts off better than the preseason ended. So. All right, guys. Vinny G-Man, thanks for hanging out with me, brother. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you. So whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.